just make sure that you're interested in what you do and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Definitely do something that people don't do. Find your niche, focus it hard, and try to see what other people are not doing or where there's a potential for a new market. So that's what I would try to do. Because just copying other people or just following blindly because this sells so we stock that's no challenge, it's not interesting, and that's not going to benefit you or the customer in the long term.
Hi guys, my name is Bess. I'm the wine lady of 𝗧𝗪𝗏𝗃. Welcome.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You're now watching Kinetic Outcome, and we are with Solomon Leader at 𝗧𝗪𝗏. So they have lots of wine and liquor of different options from different parts of the world, but only unique selections here, nowhere else. So, Solomon, quick intro of yourself from where it all started. Like, let's say where you were born, and then Hong Kong, and then how did you get here?
Okay. I was born in the UK, was brought up at the beginning part of my life in Hong Kong up to primary school, and then I went to the UK for secondary school and university, and then came back to Hong Kong to train as a lawyer, and I was a lawyer for about 15 years before I finished with law and I thought about doing something else.
Okay, so in that 15-year journey, right, you said there came a time where you just wanted to stop, and then this happened. Like, did you have this idea already prior, before starting this?
Because I started with wine. Wine, I never was brought up drinking wine. I drink beer. It's a hot weather climate. I don't know wine at all. But just somewhere along the line, I just found this was something to do, something to get serious about. Because wine, I do drink occasionally back then. I found it a very fascinating subject, so I just started looking up, reading it up, and then traveling. And then enrolled into sort of a wine school locally here, and then I did the courses and just kept going, really. That was it. So and I'm the sort of person that if I start something, I just want to keep going and seeing it through. So that's why we're still here today, doing what hobby turned into a profession.
So one day you just decided you wanted to open a place, and the first shop was in 2019.
Yeah, so
right?
there's a very massive gap in the CV.
Like,
so
how was that opened?
The 24th of March 2015, that was Rugby 7's Friday, so that was the last day I finished the job. So all I had at that moment in time was, I'm going to take a very long holiday, I'm going to party like there's no tomorrow, and then think about things later. So from that day onwards, I basically backpacked and traveled for 3+ years to around the world, all sorts of countries and around the world, and I just really enjoyed the traveling with my wife. And even at that time, I still didn't know what I was going to do. But and then about 3 years later, then I realized, well, I don't have much money left now, so I might as well start doing something useful with my life. So I was trying to make a hobby into a business, so the wine thing. But I never intended at the beginning to open a shop, because I think that was very time consuming. I thought I could short circuit it by just doing an online business, so I don't have to be so fully invested. The cost, the barrier to entry lower, so it's easy to get started, and also it'll free up my time so I can continue to travel, explore the world, and do that whilst I'm still young and energetic and keen to do it.
Okay, and when you were traveling, were you trying different sorts of options in terms of drinks and wines?
Absolutely. So I was going to vineyards. I, in fact, started from my very kind. My wife has added me to a list of flight companions. So she was a flight attendant, which means I get like a discounted tickets to travel. So I started traveling when I met her, seriously travel. So we went to Africa and the Caribbean, places like that. So that's why I started understanding more about wine. So South Africa, especially in Cape Town, is an absolutely lovely country, lovely city. And there's full of that really exciting nature, culture, and just really cool place to hang. And I started learning wines basically from the wine farms, the wine visits I did there back at that time.
So that's where you got the options, try it out, list down the good options. And
absolutely. So that's what at that time I still wasn't going to use. It was just hobby. I was just learning. I was just trying to see what's going on. It wasn't like this master plan, I'm going to be there in 5 years, there in 10. There was nothing like that. It was just pure interest, hobby, and trying something new. So the business thing didn't really get started until about 2016. So I sort of started on and off doing this online wine business, sort of finding my feet because I had to learn from scratch. There was no apprenticeship for me. I was completely starting from zero with no assistance whatsoever. So it took me quite a while to understand what was going on. So it took a few years for me to get going really. So and then by chance, in 2019, an opportunity came up that from where we live locally in 𝗏𝗏, this gentleman had a hat shop, and my wife was making hats at that time, and they got chatting, and it was an elderly gentleman who wanted to look after his grandkids more. So he suggested that we take over the shop so we can sell some hats as well as sell some wines on the side. And so that's how the idea started from this first shop in 2019.
So 𝗏𝗏 became your market at first.
You can say that, yeah. But when I was online marketing, there was obviously I lived in 𝗏𝗏, so the part of the market was there. But I was actually focusing on doing more pop-ups. I was doing hot desking in these places where you can hire rooms and do promotions and events that way. So I sort of was spending quite a lot of time just getting face-to-face contact and do some events like that. But I didn't have that shop at the time, so I didn't really have a physical outlet for what I was trying to do. So then came 2019, and then I found it was actually it's much easier, and in fact, it's quite essential to do what I do to have face-to-face contact with the potential customers and to have that contact.
Okay, and you also do wholesale?
Wholesale, yes, but the original idea was pure retail. So I get the face-to-face, one-to-one. I never say no to wholesale, but obviously I now sell to bars, restaurants, events, and things like that. But my primary focus is to deal with the customer face-to-face, the end user, so I understand and get feedback from the end user experience, and this is absolutely essential. But if you do wholesale, you have the middleman, the manager, the sourcing guy. You don't know ultimately how the end customer enjoy the wine, not enjoy the wine. So hard to get the honest feedback that way. So the only way is to go right to the end user, to talk to them and understand what's good and what's not, and why if it's not good, then why it's not good for them.
Okay. So we already know your unique point, right? Like you have options that are only here, right? And you were talking about face-to-face. So what do you think is the most crucial points that must not be missed in these customer interactions?
I used to waffle a lot, and people know me. I've got a few beers. I'm a super waffler. I just go round and round in circles and talk too much. But however, when it comes to sales, when a customer walks in, I do the direct approach. I just ask them two questions. What kind of wine you like and how much you're prepared to pay? Which is ultimately, the customer may not approach you that way, but ultimately after 5 minutes or after 20 minutes or after 60 seconds, ultimately I find that that's the key questions, and that will save a lot of time and get straight to the point so we can actually match what they're looking for in terms of my wine selections.
Okay. So for your top 5 options, what would you recommend in terms of people coming into your store?
5? Only 5?
or 10. 10, 5 to 10. Your most favorites?
So my specialty is obviously South African wine, but also Italian and some French wine. So I keep adding the range because the customer feedback has led me to add to the selection because to suit their purposes better. So if you come to my shop, I will firstly probably say, if you know nothing about what I do, I would suggest you try some South African wines. And it's South Africa. Their specialty grape is Chenin Blanc, the white, and also Pinotage, the red. These two are top choices that I always recommend the customer. If they don't know the grape, definitely try it.
Okay. And to move on to the next question is, what were the challenges throughout the whole process?
The challenges? Well,
yeah.
that's
from the first store to the second store.
That'll be an interview on its own. Challenges. Ooh.
Quick highlights.
The main challenge for me was I know absolutely nothing. Now that's a huge challenge, and that could be good or bad depending on how you see this. Like, I'm a complete blank piece of paper. I was a solicitor in a shipping firm, so I didn't really have much accounting skills. day-to-day retail skills, marketing, online marketing, sourcing. I have absolutely no apprenticeship experience in these areas. So everything was started from scratch. So I just had to go carefully, slowly, ask any help wherever is offered I can get. So the challenge was everything was starting from fresh. And there was nobody sort of like, giving any comments along the way, because I don't really know anybody in the industry or I know people who study wine, but not really trade wine as a business, which is completely different to just, casually enjoying wines at home or in a restaurant.
Okay. What tips would you give to people who would want to get into the business that you're in now? Besides, of course, learning everything, of course.
Just make sure that you're interested in what you do and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Definitely do something that people don't do. Find your niche, focus it hard, and try to see what other people are not doing or where there's a potential for a new market. So that's what I would try to do. Because just copying other people or just following blindly because this sells so we stock that, that's no challenge, it's not interesting, and that's not going to benefit you or the customer in the long term.
Okay. Let's say everything goes really, really well, which we all want to. What are your plans for expansion besides Hong Kong?
Expansion,
actual stores like this.
In this year, I'd like to concentrate on sort of solidifying what we do here and push it a bit harder in terms of holding events. I think have a more interesting theme instead of just wine. We're wine and music, wine and literature, wine and even real estate development seminars. So we can co-partner other people who try to sell their stuff, but we also piggyback on them or group together, so you make several concepts together, make it more worthwhile and interesting for the customers.
Okay.
So I think that's some good potential there. We've been doing reasonably well at that. Last few months has obviously been quite tough for us. Summer's always slow months, many people away with the families and things like that. And the weather was probably not conducive to people sort of go out so much enjoying things. People prefer to just hide at home, during the day. It's hot and humid and bothered. So now the weather's better, we'll want to concentrate and focus on doing more events and to really solidify and consolidate on what we have so far into more focused in terms of sourcing of new products, because we have a better understanding of the customers, the clientele, the market around this area. So we have better knowledge, and that means we can actually make a more solid plan and actually put more resources towards those.
Okay, yeah. So earlier, also part of the question was, let's say it's solid already, going well. Any other locations in mind besides Hong Kong?
And besides Hong Kong, no, I'll concentrate in Hong Kong, but I'll never say no to perhaps Shenzhen. That's a possibility. A bit too busy, but this has been in the back of my mind. I think I've been to Shenzhen regularly recently, and I think it's a happening place. It's a growing place. I think the people there, that they like their wines, they know their wines, and they would like a more diverse offerings. I think they're very, they're young, they want to learn, they're very good at learning, the mainland Chinese. So I think that's a huge potential there. If we can make it happen one day, which I'm not ruling out, but probably not in the next 5 or 6 months yet, but who knows?
Looking forward. Yeah, so this question is off topic, and it goes to people who have influenced you in your life. It could be family or not family. It could be more than one. Someone that you probably always remember in terms of learning from.
I think on that one, I find inspiration from everyone I meet. I think everybody has their own unique story and they have something to share and give. I don't think anybody's better or worse than anyone else. I don't believe that. That's why I love, part of my job is talking to people, understanding them. We can talk about 5 minutes of wine or maybe 55 minutes of just your personal stuff or what's going through. And that way I understand the people and then find inspiration from all walks of life, and everybody's got something to add. So I find inspiration everywhere, all times.
Okay. And then we're almost towards the end. So this is a question that just popped in my head. For someone who became a solicitor for 15 years to being here now and still experiencing life, What tip would you give to someone who's just a fresh graduate from university? From all your worries from the past to now you're here.
If I can rewind the clock, message to myself 20 years ago. Do what you enjoy. Life's too short. You can't get a second back with ever however much money you've accumulated. Time waits for no one, and certainly not for you.
Okay. And besides the potential in China, anything else we would be looking forward to in the next couple of months?
We're going to have some winemakers flying over from South Africa to Hong Kong. They'll come and do a guided wine tasting, so we're looking forward to that. And probably we'll have a few more concerts here towards leading up to Christmas, because we have a grand piano here, which is a bit underused, so we'd like to get more involved in music and wine and collaborations with other artists in Hong Kong.
That event is happening next month?
Next month, October.
October, like
middle of October.
Okay.
So we have a couple of wine tastings, one in Mui Ward, another one in Central here, and then maybe another one in November. In between, if there's demand, we'll also organize some other activities. We also cater to people who have their own theme. They come to our place and we work with them and cater for the special occasions. It could be just anniversaries and birthdays and things like that. So we can also do those, and we also trying to more proactively go to make ourselves available and market us as somebody who can do so events, not just wine selling, but actually put together a good time and let everybody enjoy.
Okay. Well, I guess that's about it. But before we wrap up, make sure you check the description box, go to their website, check the offers. Recently, there have been discounts, right?
There will always be discounts.
Okay.
Best value in town.
Whatever he mentioned earlier about the wine options, you can have a look, or if you prefer, go to their place, which is here in Central, 123 Wellington Street, right?
Right.
All right, cool. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Solomon Leader, Kinetic Outcome. Pleasure having you.
Delighted to be here.
Our aim is to provide value, so if you like what you watched, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm also a financial advisor based in Hong Kong, so feel free to check the description box for my details and email or DM. And if ever you need video and photography services, the phenomenal videos you're watching right now are filmed by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Mendoza. Lastly, if you love hip-hop music, rap, R&B, singing, whichever that sounds amazing to your ears, because I always do a lot of experiments with it, feel free to drop by my channel at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 or 𝗏_CrossFade. Appreciate you for being part of this episode and more to come. Till next time.